Welcome in. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome into the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. I am one half of your host and virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. Nicole, what are you having this evening?
I'm having my signature Tito's cranberry and orange juice. Mr. Nick, I need you to tell the people what you're drinking and our three things for the show.
I'm drinking my Seven Oaks J-Lore Cabernet as per usual. Well, Dom Mysterio has explained his actions, or his excuses, as Rhea Ripley would like to say. The AEW Women's Division has taken over, and Roman Reigns has destroyed the bloodline. It's Friday, August 16th, 2024. This is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. Welcome back in, everybody. Again, happy Friday. This is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. If you're new here, hit the old like and subscribe. We love having you. If you are a regular, thanks for coming back. Nikki, it's been a week.
It has been a week. Lots going on.
I know. What are you thinking since last Friday, since we spoke?
I don't know. Think about all of it. What do we recap 7 hours of wrestling?
I know.
You tell me what you want to talk about.
We got a lot. We've got a lot we're gonna get through in this week's edition. We've got Monday Night Raw. We've got AEW Dynamite takeaways. We have Smackdown previews for tonight. There and recapping somewhat last week as well of what we missed. There is a lot to get to. So we will start it off with Monday Night Raw. And if you missed it, we'll take you back to some of the images from this past week's Raw. Monday, I know, it's such a great song. Monday Night Raw. Kids aren't all right. We got a lot going on. So we start with the opening of Monday Night Raw, where Nikki will take it away with Rhea Ripley leading the charge.
Rhea Ripley comes out, and she's had some time to mull over what happened at SummerSlam and what she's feeling. She felt embarrassment, she felt heartbreak, and now she's just really pissed the hell off. And she goes, "Dominik, you stabbed me in the back. The thing is, I'm sure you've heard this before, it wasn't deep enough." Oh, girl, get it!
Such a great line.
It was so good. And then she goes, "And Liv Morgan, you managed to run away with my championship, but you can't run forever because I'm Rhea Ripley, and it's time to remind everyone who the hell I am." And then, of course, you hear Liv saying, I know, hi, Rhea, and they're up in the stands at the top. I was going to say top of the ramp, but I guess top of the steps. Is that what you would call that? The concourse entrance?
No, it's the first level, I guess. Yeah.
Well, right when you know where they are. And she said that Daddy Dom has some things to say and that he wants to get off his chest. And of course they're booing, and she like covers his ears. She's like, "Oh, stop." And then Rhea goes, "As much as I love hearing you boo, I want to hear what Dom has to say. I love hearing excuses."
Which, so first off, this is it's so, and I told Nikki this as it was happening. I'm like, Dom gets so much heat all the time that I just feel like it's so hard sometimes for the face to get a word in, for even to get a word in, to actually get the storyline out. So that in this case, like, you need a good smooth talker, and Rhea did a phenomenal job of just like kind of being like, I want to hear what he said, like, because you have to further the storyline because you're gonna miss key moments in the dialogue, right? So like I really appreciate how she handled that and everything, because again, she's experienced. You've seen that she's come such a long way that now she can carry the whole segment for these two, in some ways. Not that they need it, but again.
And then Dom finally gets out. "Do you know why I left you for Liv? I'm a man." Okay. "And deserve to be treated like one." And
Not much of one, but I am one.
And they start chanting, "You suck." And he's like, "You try to change me instead of letting me be me. It was embarrassing for a grown man to be calling you mommy. Now I get a girl that calls me daddy, and she gives me tendies whenever I want, and lets me play video games whenever I want. And she helped me do something that you could never do. She finally helped me beat my deadbeat dad."
So it's funny because after he says it, I don't know if you caught it, but there's a fan that's like, "You're the man, Dom." It's like some nerdy fan. It's like he's with a super good looking woman who lets him eat chicken nuggets and play video games all day. What more would you want? Which, to be honest, my wife lets me do that.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I had chicken nuggets and I played video games today, so that was a big win.
He's like, "Oh man, she lets me eat my tendies," and it's like, I know that's how it's supposed to be, and it cracks me up. He's so good at that. He's so like, can you imagine like what 2018, 2019, like, or even pandemic? I guess more pandemic-y. Dom with his little white meat baby face with dad to like this. It's just like the 180 has been incredible.
For sure, he's come such a and like I said this a couple months ago, that he could be a main event heel right now. The heat that he gets, I don't know anyone that's like, he probably gets more heat than Solo at this point, and Solo's main eventing SmackDown and challenging for the belt. I mean, I'm trying to think of what other heat.
Well, I think him and Solo are different heats, to be honest, but I feel like Dom is the sort of heat that you want. Like the boos and the "you suck" and the like cheering, like how can you hurt Rhea? Like that's, and him being all, she lets me eat my tendies. Like, I don't know. I think Solo is more like, you're not Roman, get away. I don't know. I feel like it's different, but I guess we'll get to Solo later.
So my question to our audience here is, was Dom Mysterio's first post Rhea promo? Because this is his explanation of his actions. This was the big, we thought this might have happened last week, because that was a big storyline. We thought they might open with this, and they opened with Gunther. But did you like this? Do you like him justifying his actions this way? It seems childish in a lot of ways, but is that humorous? Is that good enough? Going towards the Netflix era, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things that like the storylines are being more or being edgier. This one especially has been relatively edgy, and just been like, she calls me daddy. Like, I get it. Like, I don't know. Could he have done better on it? Like, I felt like I don't remember much of Eddie's. Not to cut you off, but I don't remember much of Eddie's heel promo with China when that happened. Like when he turned on her, but I don't remember but I felt like it was more. I don't know. It was rooted more deeply, strongly. I don't know.
Well, I think Eddie was a man and Dom's a child and just wants to play video games and eat nuggies.
True. I guess that's how it is.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Eddie, I think more aggressive, a lot more I don't know, because Eddie's fucking Eddie, and he just had that charm. And even though he was being so gross to China and cheating and all that stuff, but you're just like, Eddie. I don't know. That's just me. I love Eddie.
I guess it's justified, but we move along.
So,
go. No, keep along in the storyline. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So then she finally helped me beat my deadbeat dad, and Rhea goes, I'm gonna say something to you that you probably haven't heard in a very long time, but she's like, but I'm proud of you. Seeing you grow into the man that you are today is one of my greatest achievements. And I love that little slight dig. She's like, you think I made you a man. And I'm like, and she's like, I wanted you to beat your dad on your own, so there's no excuses. And then Liv cuts off Rhea. And she's like, oh, Rhea, please. Like, Dom's a man and he's all mine. I took everything from you. I took your family, mine. Dom, he's mine. This Women's World Heavyweight Championship, mine. She's like, everything you love is mine. And then Rhea goes, are you done? I would love you to shut the hell up. You've maybe taken some things from me, but not everything. You just took some of my weak links. And it's like, calling the rest of the Judgment Day her weak links. The only thing you really did wrong was leaving me standing, because you're going to have to kill me. And then Liv is like, whatever.
Which made me think of the Tony Storm, Mariah May promo, which we'll get to shortly in our AEW Dynamite segment of the show. But yes, she goes on.
And then she goes, good thing you love hearing the sound of your own voice. It makes it easier to find you. And Liv was like, what do you mean? And then Damian Priest comes out of the curtain to the concourse. And I love that they're just like, he's standing there. I just loved his face. So then the brawl happens. Priest throws Dom into the concourse. Then Liv jumps on his back. And there's a whole schmaltz. And then Rhea ran up and took out Liv, and then they brawl back down to the ring, and he's about to beating up Dom, and then of course Carlito comes and saves the day.
Because he has a match scheduled with Carlito, because every hench person of the Judgment Day, before he gets to Finn, has to touch Damian.
So he has a match with JD McGoogle. Don't Google me.
McDonough?
Yes. And then now he's fighting Carlito, and like, I don't know what's going on with Carlito. He was wearing a shirt, these weird pants, 2 different boots. I
think he just lost his luggage.
I don't know. But how would you lose your luggage and have one of each boot? You have a black one and a white one.
Good question.
But I digress. It goes commercial, and then it comes back to the match. I love at one point, Priest does the Falcon Arrow. And I call it's not a sit down, because the Falcon Arrow is a sit down, but he kind of like, as he's going down, he kind of tosses the person. He did that at SummerSlam. And then he kind of did it like, I think it's cool with JD that can fly and Carlito can fly, but I think that was an awesome move. And then he hit that, then a really big clothesline, Stop of Heaven, 1, 2, 3, obviously Priest wins. And then of course, then the Judgment Day comes out. First, JD Madonna comes out, Priest takes him out, and then Balor comes in, and then Dom and Liv come in, and that's when Rhea comes out, and she takes out Carly. She like knees him on the ramp, and then at this point, Balor kind of turns around and sees Rhea, and then Rhea does her little wavy hand thing, and then Priest stands up, and they're in between them, and then JD McDonough comes running and pushes Finn out the way to take the
Very well done. Very well
perfect.
done. This whole segment was really, really well done. Like, just everything leading up to the match and how they're doing, because McDonough's his boy. He's going to take the bullet for Finn until Finn's ready. And
the bullet, because they're in a club together.
I see what you did there. But yes. So yeah, they're building up towards that Finn Priest showdown. Moving on. Yes.
So clear the ring. Priest and Rhea are hugging because they're the Terror Twins and they're biffles in real life, and I love their love. Platonic love. So they're hugging each other, and then you see Dom get up on the top turnbuckle and goes to jump, and Priest just stuck out his hand and grabbed him while still holding Rhea, and it was so well timed.
Yes.
Just how like Dom was falling and the hand up and the.
You totally expected this moment to be 100% like, all right, this is how they're gonna get, because they last week they got some of their revenge or whatever. They got McDonough, so they got a little piece of it, and you thought that this was going to be the moment where, like, all right, now Judgment Day is going to start beating down and the numbers game's going to cash in. And yeah, this is a very awesome.
So catches him by the throat. Then he throws him to Rhea, and she's setting up for the Riptide. And that's when Liv is on the apron to pull Dom to safety. And they go back on the ramp, and it's the whole Judgment Day. And I was like, your boy's about to get beat up, and Liv is the only one to go save her man, and then the rest of the Judgment Day is on the ramp? A little weird. But then they all, like, stalk backwards, staring at
Which is, again, a mirror image or opposite of last week, where Dom saved Liv.
Yeah.
Same situation. So like, they're both, again, eventually they're going to get their comeuppance.
Yeah, well, that's what Cole said in commentary. It's like, oh, it's Liv's turn to save her man.
Exactly.
But this did later in the night. It is going to lead to a mixed tag match at Bash at Berlin. And I quickly watched, before coming down here, there was one of their web exclusives, and Kathy Kelly is interviewing Priest and Rhea backstage. And basically, Priest says, like, oh, it was 5-on-2. And we beat you, or like we stood tall. Like, what are you gonna do when it's 2-on-2? And then Rhea was like, "Oh yeah, they got rid of the two muscles of the group." And I was like, "Well," but you know something smart. I mean, someone's gonna get obviously the whole Judgment Day is gonna get involved. We'll get to our predictions when we get there, but you know.
Yeah, I'm excited for this match when it does come up, because I don't know. I feel like Judgment Day is gonna get over somehow, because they have to keep them building them up strong, and the numbers game is going to come back. But I'm curious to see, like, how dominant do they make Rhea and Priest look over the new Judgment Day in the coming weeks before Bash in Berlin.
I think that's the thing. They're going to look strong until it gets to Berlin, and then something's gonna, I don't know. Maybe a new member will come out and like help. Or be
who would be a new member, though?
I don't know, someone from somewhere.
Someone from somewhere.
I mean, like, Finn does have his wrestling school. That's why him and JD are friends. Like, you could bring up an NXT kid, like, you go to Carlito joined the Judgment Day. Like,
true. Fair point. Murdoch checking in. I'll never think Dom should be in WWE, but I enjoyed his spot in the segment as a whole. I agree. This has been one of the best storylines going in WWE right now. It really is. I can't think, like, in terms of like a hottest storyline. I mean, this and the Bloodline, and the Wyatt Sicks, like, which, perfect segue. Or, well, do you want to wrap up this portion of?
No, I think it's next. We got 2 more weeks. We got 2 more weeks, because next week is the go home for AEW. So they got 2 weeks. I know a lot can happen. And JD, who else do we got? I was gonna say Priest's gotta fight somebody else, but then it's just Finn.
Yeah, I think it'll just 2 more weeks, so there'll be an intermediary like tag match or something. It'll be like Priest and.
Or it'll be like Jay, but like Jay and Sammy.
Yeah, something like that.
Be somebody else.
Yeah, no, yeah, it'll be some straggler. Jay,
you can bring in
Sammy.
I don't know.
Who do you think is the next? Could even up the odds in this
Rhea
Judgment Day?
When's the last time she had a match on Raw?
Rhea?
Yeah. Even like before meeting, like she didn't. There's a bug in our house. But she hasn't really. For a while, she wasn't having singles matches.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like a tune-up match as we fight this bug.
I know, it's driving me crazy, but I digress. So we move in to the next portion where actually Murdoch kind of segued me in a little bit. The top 3 storylines. We've gotten another tape from Bo Dallas, coming off the heels of their impressive debut. What do you want to call it? In-ring debut of the Wyatt Sicks last week. Bo Dallas comes out with a new tape this week. Nikki, quick.
I love it.
explanation
I
of this?
think it's interesting. They were just like, oh, well, they won last week. Here's a video. Like, there wasn't have to be some spoopy, like, we left it on, Pat McAfee's doorstep. It was just like, here's a video. So I'm like, oh, they're losing that already. But I don't know. But this.
Well, yeah, I don't think you need to do it all the time. Like, it's.
I just to go from, I don't know, it's mysterious drop off, and now it's just like, all right, throw it to the videotape. I guess maybe it's like when they used to throw to the Firefly Funhouse. Now it's just like, this is a segment we do.
I don't
know.
I think it's fine, but we disagree a lot on the show. So who's to say?
So leading up to their debut last week, every member had their own little video, and now it's back to just Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, talking to a video screen, the TV screen. And he basically said everything is coming full circle. It's been heavy lately, a lot of emotions, especially last week in Baltimore. That's where it all started. And you hear Uncle Howdy, all started. The Wyatt Sicks had their debut, where it all began. Here we are. He was there, and they go, something's happening, man, something big, but the work isn't done. The work must continue. And then it kind of gets all spoopy, and there's cuts. Like, the whole time he's talking, there's cuts really between the Wyatt family, like, obviously Bray Wyatt family and this family, cuts to Howdy and all the spoopy stuff. And then it says, like, the work must continue, and then it starts saying, other doors shall open, other doors shall open. And then Bo starts rocking back and forth very aggressively, saying, my life for you, my life for you, my life for you. And he's rocking back and forth, and then it comes more like my life for you turns into Howdy's voice. And then you can tell, like Nick and I have said on the show, the more angry Bo gets at the end, that's when Uncle Howdy goes, there you are. So it's just like Bo getting angry is when people get, because he said that to Chad.
It's his persona.
Yeah.
It's his dark side. So my question is, well, we have two. First off, what doors will the Wyatt Sicks open? Or what door is Bo Dallas talking about? Because now there's a couple ways you can interpret this, right? You could think of, I think, Nikki, I don't want to speak for you, when we talked about, you thought maybe it was his next target, like who's next, like other doors, other portals, whatever you call it, will be open. Is that what it means? Does it mean, now, to me, I'm thinking the door that they came through, all these characters, right, came to life, came through the door of the Funhouse, and we still have yet to see Alexa Bliss as a potential other member to this group, additional member. So could the doors be other people, other members to the Wyatt Sicks faction? Or they're just throwing this out there because now you see Joe Hendry in NXT. Could it mean maybe going elsewhere? I don't know.
Prohibited portals.
Yeah, prohibited
but
portals.
I just don't want, because before that he's like, the work must continue. And if their work is to take out people that are mistreating their families, God, you can go through the whole AEW, NXT, all of WWE universe about people mistreating their families.
Well, the bloodline. Like, Ed called into the show a couple weeks ago, and he's like, this, and I agree with him, like, the eventual Wyatt Sicks in any iteration of the bloodline showdown could be phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So, again, I don't know what doors, what portals could be open. It's very interesting to see. So I throw it out to everyone out there. Like, what do you think the doors are? Is it a character? Is it a new member of the Wyatt Sicks? Is it another target? Which brings me to the other question. If it is a target, who is the Wyatt Sicks' next target?
I want to go back to that meme of the little girl from the taco commercial. And she's like, why not both? Like, why cannot both things be happening? Like, maybe Alexa Bliss is coming in, and then her coming in makes them go to another target. I don't know.
I love this photo as I say, who's the Wyatt? Next target, it's like he's thinking about it. He's contemplating it too.
Who am I going to attack next?
Yeah, I don't know. Who do you all think is the next target for the Wyatt Sicks? Or are they not done with Gable? I know Gable cut a promo. He cuts a promo later on Raw where he says he's not done with them, so they may still be another match in the future.
I think eventually you're going to have to get Howdy chat.
Yeah, or...
But, I mean, there's the first person that...
Yeah,
that they attacked. Like, you have to... I'd be upset if they don't have... Eventually, I'm not saying, like, next week's Raw, but eventually it has to lead to a match between the two leaders.
Like, you would think. I just feel bad because I feel like Chad Gable, like, now he's got this group, and which we will get to very shortly. And
one thing, you can veer off and let American Made and them be good, and then you circle back around.
I mean, I guess, yeah, you can.
How many times have Sammy and KO gone?
True. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm curious. But we want to hear from all you. What's the next target for the Wyatt Sicks? From targets to the targeted, real quickly, we'll touch on Odyssey Jones had an in-ring debut, and now Odyssey Jones is the muscle, if you will, for Kofi Kingston and the New Day. Or I'm saying Kofi Kingston and the New Day because, quick sidebar, we touched on it last week with Odyssey Jones' debut. My question, is the New Day breaking up?
Can I briefly quote Karrion's promo?
Yes. Which I think says it all as well.
Well, also, me and my facial hair, his 5 o'clock shadow is back, so thank God for that. I literally wrote that in my notes, so you all know. And Cross goes, that Kofi's using Odyssey Jones to replace Big E, and then people start booing, and then he goes, Austin, show me some respect, and it's the double entendre, because Xavier Woods' real first name is Austin. And then he goes, no, Woods, you see the truth. Kofi's using Odyssey Jones to replace you. And then Woods is like, aren't you tired of doing this? Like, are you trying to put a wedge between us? Like, that's not going to work. And he's like, why don't we just fast forward to next week and what two of you are going to face us? And then Kofi interrupts and is like, no, I have a better idea. Because whoever is not in my match is going to get involved. So why don't I just have the 3 of us versus the 3 of you? And then Karrion goes, the devil's work is never done. I accept. So, him like cutting him off and be like, I have a better idea. And then Kofi Woods didn't know that they were going to accompany Odyssey Jones to his match.
Right. And I think a lot of it, like a couple things, like first off, when they first started the New Day, the original promo from Woods was a heel promo. Like the group was a heel group, and he worked really well as like their like mouthpiece to an extent before he was really, I mean, he was good in the ring, but he was given that opportunity. So I like him as a heel. It's interesting because I think Odyssey Jones is like with Woods as like his muscle like turning would be kind of an interesting swerve on this.
To flip it on its head.
Because I don't know. Like, I get it. He's a big dude. He's big. He's like, he reminds me of like he's Mark Henry. He's probably bigger than Mark Henry. He's like 400 pounds and he's like 6. I think Mark Henry's 400 pounds, but I think Odyssey Jones is taller. He looks thicker to me. But
I think more at like Mark Henry is kind of like don't.
But I don't know. I think, me personally, I think this is the end of the road, and maybe they're throwing Kofi with Odyssey so that they can keep Odyssey relevant for a little bit, and let him be, I don't want to say his handler, but like kind of like you put him with a vet in a tag team until he's ready to go off on his own. But yeah, I think the New Day's breaking up. Do you all think this is the end of the New Day? Obviously, Big E, it would be nice. Like, I don't see why Big E couldn't be their manager. But
I want him, again, I've said this before, I want him to replace Booker T on commentary and not NXT. I don't know. So, from one... wait, 2 seconds, I'm sorry. Has Kofi Kingston ever been heel? Or when, like, New Day were heels, but that's not, to me, that doesn't... Yeah,
I guess when New Day were heel.
Because I'm thinking, I was like, oh, like, Kofi and Odyssey Jones are going to go off. But I guess he wouldn't be the one that Kofi will get turned on.
Murdoch. Usually feuds culminate in a PLE match. I think Gable and Bo would have had a match at one. It kind of seems like a waste to have such a vicious attack than a 3-3 in Raw and then just moving. Yeah, no, it's a fair point.
No, I think they'll get there. And the thing is, because I think the Wyatt debut match should have been on the PLE, agreed, but I think just because they were in Baltimore and that's where the original Wyatt family debuted, that's why they did that.
Agreed.
Again, like, you can't wait till the PLE's in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Especially when everything's so far booked,
Nostalgia. But we move on. So from one group of potentially 3 to the newest group of 3, where American Made now has a newest member as Ivy Nile. My girl.
So I'm confused. Do you want to talk about your girlfriend first before I destroy it?
I'm just saying that the Pitbull deserves a little bit of respect. And she's good. I think she deserves an opportunity. And I've been waiting for her to be a heel. She talks to Maxine Dupree prior to the match.
Right.
And explains how she does not want her to be out there. You don't need to be out there. Just leave it be. Or maybe you could join up with American Made. She's no, we're good.
Right. Well, how I was saying Ivy Nile is joining them when she says, "I'll talk to Chad so you can."
I don't know. I feel like she officially joined it. I feel like she's officially because.
It's so weird.
She hasn't been with them when they've been out there. She hasn't. So this is her official.
No, there's other chat.
Michael Cole said that she joined it. If Michael Cole said,
Michael Cole,
and he's a damn respected journalist.
I love Michael Cole.
So
but I just thought maybe the wording was weird. I think if she just said like, "Hey, don't go out there tonight. The boys are dealing with some stuff. Stay with me, Dak." Not for her to like, "Oh, I'll talk to Chad." I think maybe if they left that out, I'd be like, "Oh, maybe more excited about it." But for her to be like, "Oh, I'll talk to Chad. I'll make it. It'll be cool." It's like, well, then you're already with them.
I agree. This was inevitable. We saw this coming, especially when like months ago when Gable was going to break up with this group anyway, with American Alpha, and make this new group, the Chad Gable stable. But again, should this have been a bigger moment? Like kind of Nikki's point. Probably, I thought there's more that they could have done. Maybe give her a win. It's in something.
I think that'll probably be next week, I assume.
Yeah, I think now she can start getting a push. But again, probably over Maxine Dupree. Right? So, I don't know. I mean, I'm a little disappointed because I really think that Ivy Nile has a lot of potential. Again, I will admit it was a little sloppy, her destruction. But I don't know if some of that. Not to put on Maxine, not the greatest. Both kind of green.
I think the both of them, I feel like, are green. I think Maxine more than Ivy, but they didn't give him much to do. It's like, I'm going to slam your head on this. I'm going to slam your head on that. You're going to get on this, and I'm going to put you in the dragon, whatever.
Dragon Sleeper.
There you go. I always want to say Snapdragon, but that's the other move. But you didn't give them. It wasn't like this whole big pull apart brawl. It's just like a smack here.
True.
And then also talking, because they had the tryouts at SummerSlam weekend, and they were talking about that NIL program that they had. And Maxine was one of those people that joined in 2021. So she's still a fresh little baby. And they didn't you get your little training in NXT. She was in NXT for a hot second. And they brought her up to be with LA Knight when he was Max Dupree.
Yeah, Max Dupree.
And let's bring in his sister, Maxine. And she's basically only been like a valet.
Steven really likes McAfee's face in this picture. Let's see.
I can't see.
Yeah, I think it.
Hold on, let me see. Steven! He's just like, ugh.
He doesn't really know.
Also, I do love Pat a lot, but him in the commentary in this match, if he had to tell me that the Creeds were from Ohio one more time, that's all he kept saying. The boys from Ohio, the brothers from Ohio, Ohio, cauliflower ears. I'm like, all right, man, I get it. Sometimes I feel like when he has sport people, or people that did I don't want to say actual sports because that's not the right term I want to use, but obviously they were amateur wrestlers. The Julius was the big deal at Duke or whatever. He gets so caught up in that, and it's like, all right, bring me back into the actual wrestling right now.
True, that's fair. So we'll see what this does for Ivy Nile moving forward.
And also, when she went in the ring and joined them, Michael Cole was like, "Oh, they have a diamond mind," and I was like, "Oh, I see what you did there, Michael Cole. That was their stable in NXT with my Roddy."
Yeah. So again, nice little play on words.
And also,
Cole's done this a lot more now with McAfee around.
In this match, Otis was doing something. He's like, "Oh, he's like heavy machinery." Like,
yeah.
Well, you let go his partner during the pandemic. Dude doesn't even wrestle anymore.
No one cares about Tucker anyway.
Oh, Tucker.
Yeah, no one cares. If you care about Tucker, click the like button. If you don't, hit the like button. As new people are coming in, chime in on the conversation. Ivy Nile has joined American Made, which led into the main event. We're going to cover it very briefly. Very good match. Probably the best of the three between... Oh, sorry. That was the main event. Sorry, we're going to get into prior to the main event. Gosh, I skipped a little too far ahead.
I don't know where you're going. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Where we're going, we don't need scripts. The showdown later in the evening, Randy Orton comes out to confront Gunther. So ultimately, running him down, just to kind of, well, do you have any highlights from this promo that you really like that you want to get?
Sorry, my 6-page notes here. I'll be quick. I love how when Gunther was walking down, Cole was like, "Oh, we have a new statistic," and McAfee was like, "Since Gunther has been in the WWE, 75% of that time he's been a champion," which I thought good, should, but I love that they're calling that out.
Mm.
And then he gets in the ring and I'm gonna keep this short. So back and forth, but Randy goes, "Remember this moment in time. In a few short weeks, I'm gonna beat this guy, and his Friday nights won't be free anymore, and I'll be on Raw. It will be my new home." And I was like, "Is that how that works? If he wins the belt and they do a flipperoo?"
Yeah, you're the world heavyweight champion.
Yeah, so Randy will go to Raw, but that wouldn't mean that Gunther goes to SmackDown.
All right. They can do whatever they want.
Won't be free anymore.
Randy Orton can do whatever he wants because he's a 13
I'm pretty
time.
sure that's not how this works. And then Gunther kind of comes back at him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, remember this moment?" And he kind of digs into him. It's like, "You should be the greatest of all time, most gifted, unlimited potential," and it was wasted. This is the new era, the era of the ring general. There'll be no room for people that waste their potential. In my future, you won't play a role in it anymore. And then he was like, and Randy answers back. He's like, "I never claimed, to be perfect. I've made mistakes, made a lot of mistakes, probably more than anyone in the locker room. But I made up for those. I changed course. Maybe you forget who you're talking to, but I am Randy Orton, and I'm the most unpredictable, most violent, most controversial, yet successful WWE superstar in the history of the game. And I did it my way, the American way." And I was like, don't like that, Marina AWOL, okay. He's like, "I got 5 beautiful kids and a hot smoke show of a wife waiting for me back home. And the cherry on top is going to be 13, soon to be 14-time champion." And then Gunther is like, you're predictable. He's like, "I'm going to make some predictions. I'm going to beat you. You're going to be world champion." And he's like, basically, your grandfather's a screw up, your dad's a screw up, and you're a screw up. And then, do you want me to keep going? Do you want to comment on any of that?
So ultimately, back and forth, Randy gets upset. Drew McIntyre crashes the party.
Yeah.
So we see a third party, Drew McIntyre, coming. Hold on. If only Randy would run through his lines that fast.
Agreed.
Touche, Steve. Touche. So Drew McIntyre does come out and basically thinks about throwing his name in the hat or in the ring for the World Heavyweight title before CM Punk ultimately. Oh wait.
You are skipping so much stuff.
I know. I'm highlighting.
Well, basically, Drew comes down. Gunther turns to look at Drew to be like, what are you doing here?" And then Randy Orton spins him around and hits him with the RKO, rolls out the ring. And at that point, that's when Punk comes down and starts beating up McIntyre. So kind of these two things converge for a hot second and then split off into their own things again.
So there's two separate storylines, which leads me to believe that whoever the victor is out of the CM Punk Drew McIntyre feud will then challenge the winner, presumably Gunther. Be Gunther's next challenger for the World Heavyweight title. But this leads to the belief that I'm assuming at Bash at Berlin, or maybe Bad Blood, there will be a CM Punk Drew McIntyre strap match.
Rumors is Berlin, because basically at this point when Punk came out to attack Drew took off his belt, and there was a struggle for the belt. Punk got the belt and just started whipping him with it. Different matches, but he did have that famous dog collar match in AEW, and I don't think they'll let them do the dog collar, so I think this is the next best thing. I think it's going to be good. I think the distraction of Seth gone. Now I think Punk's now a little more in it. I think this is going to be a really good match, and I believe it's at Berlin.
Agreed. It's not in Hell in a Cell.
That's going to be on my birthday. We're all going to party for my birthday and watch them go Hell in a Cell. Yes, and it's going to be a strap match. That's the rumor.
Yes.
The backstage, I think it was on Raw. I don't think it was an exclusive. Punk was talking to Kathy Kelly, saying, because Adam Pearce said in the beginning earlier in the night to Drew that like, oh, Punk's not here due to travel issues because like WWE going around and stuff. Steven, he was holding the belt, talking to Kathy, and he was kind of like hitting like his like basically all but alluded to having the strap match.
Yeah.
Boys,
Get it in.
get it together.
Oh, wait, gotta take that comment down now. There we go. But yes, so it's gonna be the next level, next stage of this feud. We are excited to see these two take it to a whole other level, to the extreme. Dare I say it? So just to quickly wrap up Monday Night Raw, not to glance over it because it was a very good match.
I could do it in 4 sentences.
4 sentences. Well, just a couple other things. Actually, not that we're going to. Bronson Reed took out R-Truth with about like 15 tsunamis.
Go watch that segment with R-Truth and Miz and Randy Orton backstage. I had it in my notes. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but watch it. It's great.
If you want to call in and ask Nikki about that segment, you can call in and ask her about it. We're trying to get through 3 shows in hopefully 2 hours less before SmackDown starts. So, but wrapping up the Raw takeaways for this week, the main event was Sami Zayn challenging Braun Breaker in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Overall, I thought a pretty solid match with Sami Zayn capturing the first fall with the Helluva Kick, just one. But I guess fair enough. Any particular thoughts on this match? I mean,
no, again, I have whatever notes for it, but I love before the first Helluva for the thing. I also like that they kept showing that graphic and it was like their faces like 0-0. Like I made it. There was like a lot of new graphics on Raw this week, and I really enjoyed them. There's this one spot that before the Helluva that Sammy tries to do a leapfrog and Braun catches him and turns it into a slam. I thought that was it looked great. Because Sammy does the leapfrog a lot, and then like Cole's like, oh, he's studying him. He's studying him. They fought each other right now. Like honestly, I like this match better than when they had SummerSlam.
Yeah, no, I think this is the best out of all the matches that they've had. Ultimately, though, I mean, they were given about like 15 minutes at the end of Raw, but ultimately,
it was more than that. Well, I guess
with the
commercials
TV,
and entrances and stuff, but like they had the last half hour technically.
But I think it's another great win to keep Braun strong. I also think, just going back to the quick segment, I think, and I told you this right before we came on, I think the next challenger, ultimately the next big challenger, is Bronson Reed for Braun Breaker.
Yeah,
Very similar storylines on how they're like Bronson Reed's taking out everybody and putting people on the injured list, and I think he got suspended on Raw because of that. Because I'm pretty sure Adam Pearce said it like 14 times, you're suspended, like go, you need to stop or something. But I don't know. Everyone's suspended, not suspended you know how that all goes.
But he got the second fall, which I thought was a lot better than their fall at SummerSlam. It was the Gorilla Press 2 spears pin. And then his third pin, Sammy went to the top rope and went to jump down, and he speared him in midair. 1, 2, 3. And there's also the schmoz on the outside that I thought was fun. But to wrap it up.
Oh, the throw where he threw him into the timekeeper booth?
No, I'm saying it's right before this that Sammy Sammy kind of rolled out the ring and it was like stunned from whatever move, and he's kind of leaning against, kind of half on, leaning on the announce table, and Braun jumped from the apron and sort of like a clothesline.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And then, like, Pat called it a pounce. I was like, I don't think that was a
It's
pounce.
not a pounce. Yeah, it's a clothesline.
And the bugs on my glasses.
I know, we can't
but I thought it's one fucking bug. Again, I think it was the best of the three. I think this is done. I think Braun's gonna move on from this, whether it goes to, and it's weird to wrestle at an opponent that has your actual name.
Braun versus Bronson.
Yeah, but Braun's real name is Bronson.
That's what it's gonna be. The hashtag be hashtag Braun versus Bronson.
That's why I love Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns, because it's the Samoan Joe versus Samoan Joe.
They'll never. But overall, I thought a pretty good show. We'll get to SmackDown. We are gonna go. Let's get through some quick comments here. Ed with a couple jokes. Punk is getting all strapped up. There you go, Ed. You are suspended, Ed. Don't bury the lead. Welcome in, guys.
Hey.
But that being said, let's move along to midweek. Hump Day. It's Wednesday night. You know what that means.
I shout out to the both shows are giving such love to Brody Lee, Luke Harper, and it makes my heart happy.
So, Nikki, AEW Dynamite takeaways. We opened the show talking about the ladies. And I think for once, we don't talk about, we crap on it for a while. We crap on him when he signs all these people and doesn't do anything. But I think for once, at least this show, to me,
some love to the ladies.
We open with Britt Baker.
No.
Well, Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker, that storyline.
No. We opened with a match.
Well, match, but the storyline.
No, he opened with a women's match, and it was actually a long match. It was actually a good match. I love Sheeta a lot, and I love her new look, and I love her little more heely thing, and I think her and Mercedes, I always want to say Sasha, but they actually had a fun match, and I think Camille hit the spots, her spots. It was like obviously protecting Mercedes, but it wasn't like overly she got involved too much. She had her 2 or 3 little things that she did well. Again, I'm excited getting. I like that Mercedes is actually defending, and I love that she's actually opening a match or opened Dynamite, and it was more than a 5-second thing. So I was happy with this. And then, of course, you knew that I liked it a lot. But you knew at what kind of was the beginning of the end. Camille hit Sheeta with this big boot. And then it goes in. She hits the moneymaker 1, 2, 3.
Her boot. I will say this, Camille. Like a lot of big boots. Yeah, like Jade does. I feel like every female wrestler that's like above 6 foot does a big boot, but Camille's is really good.
I feel like
she does it really good. It reminds me like Test did a really good big boot that was his finisher. Hers is close enough that she could get away with it
between doing the big lady big boots, I prefer Camille's over Jade's.
I agree. And you know me, I'm a big Jade fan, so but yeah, ultimately very good match. So the match ends as you see Camille raises her girl's hand.
Then Britt Baker's music hits. And then the other week when Britt came out, she was in the stands wearing a Sting mask. So now there's this other, a petite woman, I assume it's a woman, had the Sting mask on. So Camille goes after her, and it turns out it's not Britt because you see Britt coming through the back of the arena. She gets on the apron. She should already have the glove on. She took too long to put the glove on. But because then Mercedes like turned around and then she's like fighting with the glove. So then she gets in, she tries to put the lockjaw on, but of course Camille pulls her away. And then Camille tries to go into the ring to go after Britt, but Britt had Sheeta's kendo stick. And then, of course, the belt's left in the ring, and I hate when they do it, but Britt Baker held up the TBS championship.
Yes, well, because she has to, because she's going to win it.
I just don't touch it. Don't breathe on it until it's yours.
But I love this shot. That's
yeah.
But Camille, I'm really excited of what Camille can be, and I hope she doesn't get like lost. But she's doing her job. Like I still fully expect Mercedes to come out on top, especially now that she introduced Camille. And next week we'll probably predict All In. But and calling it right now, I still think that's going to be a factor. But there's also the looming factor of like next week. Could we see the return? There's rumors of Jamie Hayter.
Oh, I want her to come back at Wembley. Oh, I miss Jamie Hayter.
That's what I'm saying. Could
so much. I love Britt Baker with everything going on with Britt. Don't think she's gonna win the belt, but like Jamie coming out and Jamie being the next person to go after Mercedes and take that belt off her. Maybe not at the Chicago show. What's next? And the Chicago show, Wrestle Dream, or do you have the? I almost said Wembley. What's next to Met Stadium? Arthur Ashe.
Oh,
there's the show there, the Grand Slam.
Yeah, maybe.
Then Wrestle Dream.
I think you're.
Then World's End. Then Revolution. One of those.
Yeah, it'll be real interesting.
I think Mercedes needs to hold it a little longer, but I would love for Jamie to be the one to take it off her.
What are we drinking? You are drinking some red wine Cabernet tonight. Hopefully, whatever you're drinking, alcoholic, non-alcoholic, we appreciate you chiming in. He also says Sheeta and Mercedes was good. It was a pretty good match.
I liked it a lot.
I mean, they're both good. I mean, Mercedes, I don't know.
No,
she's good, but she's like reckless.
Talk.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize that.
She great in the ring. So good in the ring. And I think they together put on a great match. I really like Sheeta's great. And I love, again, I said this before, Sheeta's new look. I feel like she had a big ponytail and her big bangs, and now with the haircut, it's blonde, and she feels more like assassin-like. Like the other, whatever pay-per-view it was, she had like the white shirt and like the suspenders, and she looked hot. And I was just like, get it, girl. So, I don't know. I want to see more, like, not these stupid squash matches. Give them 10 minutes. That's all I'm asking.
Well, they'll get 30 minutes at Wembley for the 17-hour show we're about to get. Ed says Camille has the same problem Jade had. I think she's got aura, but her skills are lacking. Yeah, it could be, and unfortunately, with what happened with Jade and AEW, that's what I worry about is like the training. But I don't know. She was in I almost said TNA because I'm the great TNA. But yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see moving along. But regardless, moving along with our AEW Dynamite takeaways.
Am I going straight to the ladies, or do I talk about what happened in between?
Anything in between that you want of note that you recognize?
I'm just quickly going to say, because y'all know I also watch Cultaholic here. We won Hangman Page versus Double J Jeff Jarrett at Wembley real bad. He had that fun match.
We do?
Oh my god. Yes, we do.
I don't.
All the stuff that they're doing, everything through the Owen, all the stuff that's going on. He attacked them last week. That's why he had that match with
Hangman Page versus Double J.
Yes, Cowboy versus Cowboy. Okay, I'm gonna talk to my people. Anywho, heel Page. I want to see that match. Book it, Tony Khan, you coward. Shout out to Cultaholic. Hit the Deadeye 1, 2, 3. Then there's the promo package, which I didn't realize. I don't really watch that much of the backstage stuff, like I do with WWE for Raw, but apparently, or for AEW. But apparently, there's a backstage conversation last week between Ospreay and Kyle, and Kyle's like, "You need to hit this move on him," and Will's like, "Just because he's a bad guy doesn't mean I should hit it." So I feel like it's like the will they, won't they? Is he going to hit the Tiger Driver? Or is MJF going to win because he hits the Tiger Driver? And then quickly they set up the coffin match between Darby Allin, Ed's favorite wrestler in the whole entire history of ever.
I know. Ed, you are so ready for a Darby. A Darby rant is coming. I am so excited.
I also said in my notes, but is also Jack Perry the king of coffin matches? Because isn't it the one coffin match between him and Christine Cage? And it was like the comical, he shut the coffin thing and it dropped. Like he was at Tower of Terror.
I think he won, but he won.
But I'm pretty sure, again, correct me down below, I think it was their only coffin match. Again, like it's like with WWE, Cody Rhodes, the two, or I guess there's 3 tribal rules matches, and he won 2 out of the 3. The first one was Jay Roman, and then Cody won the other 2. So he's like the king of the. And you think that'll be Darby's match, but I think Jack Perry's gonna win that match. But
yeah, I agree. I mean, again, not diving too much into the prediction, but like for next week. But yeah, I think they've given him such a push that he needs to win more. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, coffin match again.
But it was just so random because like AEW tries to shove so much shit into the 2-hour mark, and he was just like, "Oh, I want to do the coffin match," and like cuts to commercial, and then something else happens, and then like poor Excalibur is just they're cleaning up the messes, and he's like, "Tony Khan made it official. It's gonna be." And he's like, "I don't know if you heard, but he got challenged, and it's gonna be a coffin match." It's like poor Excalibur is just cleaning up all those messes on commentary. But then we get to
it's such good shit, though, right? Touche. But yeah, let's go on. Sorry.
But then we get to our second ladies for the World Women's Championship or AEW Women's Championship. I try to paraphrase this as much as I could because you know me and my notes. But basically, it's the backstage, not like a vignette.
Vignette. That's the great word. You did a phenomenal job on that. I'm proud of you.
So it's Mariah May. It's black and white. It's Mariah May looking into a mirror, and it pushes it, and she's like, "No, we don't do that shit anymore." And they do this weird noise now when they bleep out curse words. It throws me off.
Oh, that's what that was.
Or like a.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, now that I was like, I didn't pay attention. I literally just thought it was a glitch.
Yeah. So they bleeped out her saying shit. But she's like, yes, Ed. It's like last year you failed at Wembley.
The backstage baguette. Yeah. So last stage at Wembley.
You failed last year at Wembley. You failed. I only copy your success, not your mistakes. This year is all about Mariah, not you. Your greatest mistake was being alive at the same time as me. And then you see her burning all the old Tony Storm gear that she had. She's like, "You will be obsessed with me until the day you die, and I will forget about you completely. I'll forget about your screams, your tears, and the way your blood tastes. I will forget about you completely." And it's like, ooh. And she's like, "We both die." And Tony was like, you know, she's like, are you ready to die? Are you prepared to die? Because I am. And then she's like, we're both gonna die. I just get to write your eulogy.
That's such a great line.
Yeah.
For her. And you said this to me, and I don't want to take words, but you said this should have been her first promo after the turn.
Yeah.
It should have been a vignette, and this was great. This was kind of what we were looking for and been hoping to see for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, these two, to be honest, I'm trying to think for next week. These are the 2 matches I want to see the most. Probably, like, I'm not a huge like the Mercedes, but like I think Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker are big names, and I'd want to see that match, even with the build-up's lackluster at best of somewhat. And this one has been two of the best, the longest. This has been one of the longest storylines going on in AEW. So, like, other than the other things on the card, I don't know what's the biggest storyline going into.
Well, her loss to Saraya, losing this is what kicked off the timeless Tony Storm character.
Sure, yeah.
And then also shout out.
So could this kickoff could have lost for Mariah, then set Mariah on a whole other path too, like a deeper, darker character? That would be interesting.
I don't know. I don't think Mariah's necessarily ready to hold the big belt.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I think Tony's going to carry her through a very good match. I think Tony should come on top. Whether this maybe changes her character a little bit, because again, it has been a year that maybe we can tweak it a little bit. But also kind of the wild card, because after this promo, it cut to Renee interviewing Mira Shirkow's boobs and asking her what her opinion was on the match, and she said that she's heartbroken. She thought they were in love, and she can't pick.
I think she's gonna get involved too.
But she can't pick a winner, but hope no one gets hurt. So I think she's gonna get involved. And does she help Mariah win, or does she weirdly help Tony and then goes on to go into a program with Mariah? Really just spit everywhere. So excited about Mira's boobs.
You're just so excited. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We want to hear from all you. Where do you think this lands? Who wins at All In? Does Mariah May claim the title? Not. Moving in towards the latter part of the main event of Dynamite. Fair enough. Or is there?
Well, again, I'll be quick. There was a triple threat between Orange Cassidy, my Roddy Strong, and my Kyle O'Reilly, and this was because they're doing the gauntlet casino gauntlet, and whoever wins the gauntlet match gets a later chance at the champion. And then I was like, why are they calling it casino? It's not Double or Nothing. They're not in Vegas. But I digress, Tony. But this match was to figure out who gets to be in the match first. And I don't remember what pay-per-view it was, but they've done this before, and the gauntlet match ended early, so other participants didn't get an opportunity at the shop. So they're saying, oh, you want to be one of the first people in, or because the match might end before you get a chance to get in there. So being one of the first or second people in, you have a better chance of winning. So OC is going to be the first guy in the gauntlet match. But fun match. I love the three of them very much.
You had to get your Roddy Strong spot in. I
have a weird, strong Roddy Strong.
You have a strong feelings about it.
I have a strong feeling for Roddy Strong. I don't know why, but there's something about him that does it for me.
So moving into the main event.
You can look at me
pretending like I don't
talk about Roddy's great side.
I'm gonna go put Mariah May back on the screen. That's what you get.
That's fine. I'm not upset with boobs. You get upset when I talk about.
So we go into the actual. As much as we all enjoy, all the male viewers enjoy this view. We're going to move into the main event of the evening, where Swerve took on Wheeler Yuta, ultimately furthering the storyline of Swerve challenging Bryan Danielson. So
Bryan challenging Swerve champion.
Well, yeah.
This is getting lost in the shuffle that Swerve's your champion. Also, your champion is coming on. I put it down at 9:53. Your show ends a little after 10. Why is your champion that's supposed to be your big draw getting on the show 8 minutes before my DVR cuts off? Don't love it.
Yeah, not really sure on that end. Again, like my question with this is like, is this a lose-lose for Swerve? Because like Danielson put his career on the line in this match, right? So if Swerve wins, Danielson's done. He takes the career of Swerve takes the career of Danielson with him wherever he goes, right? Danielson wins. We all know he's retiring in a year. This is his swan song, so he gets another run with the belt. Eventually, I don't know that, or run with the belt, but not the belt. I just don't know that, like, that anyone benefits from, like, I don't know that Danielson benefits so much from one last run, like the sentimental value of it. Like, yeah, what I like to see him with it, but like in AEW, I feel like he hasn't done that much that like it's going to be like significant for him to be huge to get the title.
Again, we see this for next week's show, but he has to put Swerve over. There's rumors he's supposed to get surgery done, but I guess is that the thing? Like, oh, he's gonna get surgery. He's not gonna win. And he's gonna take the belt off Swerve. Like, He's retiring this year for full. I was gonna full ring.
Full gear?
No, not
full ring gear.
Full time in the ring. If I can talk today, this fucking bug is killing me.
I know it's right. It is really nuts, and we can't get it.
But yes, Steven, he's supposed to retire, but then the rumor is that it was like he was going to retire because he promised Birdie that he was going to be able to just start taking her to school when she turned 7. And then there was rumors like, well, maybe he'll be like half part-time, but more full-time. And then there's rumors he's supposed to get another surgery after All In. So is he going to get the surgery, like not win and get the surgery, or like? Yeah, they're saying he's supposed to get surgery done, so we're all going to say he's not going to win and then he wins. I don't think Brian needs it. I really don't. I think it'd be more for Swerve for him to beat Brian. They're both Washington guys. I think back-to-back wins, you beat Ospreay, then you beat Brian. Like, that's your champion. Like, build Swerve. He came out, again, 8 minutes before the show was ending. He looks like a star to me. It's the first thing I said to you when we were watching this morning. I was like, he looks like a fucking star. Why is he not on your show more? Like, watching Raw, or like the Bloodline runs through, and the Judgment Day stuff runs through your whole show. Why is there an 8-minute blob? You had the promo package before. There was more Daniel Bryan than Swerve.
I don't know. I know. I thought he's been one of the few, if only ones that have come over from WWE that AEW's built up great. As a main event talent, they made him into a main event talent.
Watching it in NXT, like I was like, well, when he came to AEW, like hearing his promos and watching it, like he turned into a star to me.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I wanted to see. I'd rather see. I don't think I thought it's a lose-lose because I don't think he needed to face Daniels. I think you could have built up some other challenge.
Hangman win again and run it
back. Yeah, him and Hangman would have been a much better.
That's the rumor that's going to be the all-out pay-per-view 2 weeks later.
Why can't you just do both and do a rematch? Like just run it back for now the world title because they haven't been right. It wasn't the world title wasn't in that feud, so you could do it. I don't know. It's really interesting. What do you all want to see? Do you feel like Swerve's been mistreated?
Steven, I would hate that. I hate the concept, and that's what
Steven says. Brian, I'm going to read off. Brian wins the title. A thank you from Tony for all he's done. Then the title's vacated on Dynamite, and Tony schedules yet another.
It's diminishing because that's the shit the Rock wanted to pull. I'm sorry, you win the belt and you vacate it. That diminishes the champion before it. It diminishes the belt.
They want the yes moment. Yeah.
I don't. You can do the yes moment. He doesn't need a fucking belt. It's Bryan Danielson. He doesn't need.
But they want it. It's not what you want. It's what Tony Khan wants. Damn it! It's not about ratings. It's about what Tony Khan wants to book on TV that week and who he likes.
I would really be disappointed.
So I don't know. We want to hear from all you. Where do you think this is going? Did you like Dynamite? What were your takeaways?
Do you also love Roddy Strong like I do? Let me know.
You know, let us all know in the comments below. What were your
Roddy?
I am because I do the production of the show, so that's what happens. Okay. And you will listen to every word I have to say. Yeah.
So much.
Too funny. A little wedding singer line, a little old school wedding singer line. Throw it back. One of the better Adam Sandler movies, if I may say so, as we go off. But regardless, those are our takeaways from AEW Dynamite. We want to hear from all you. If you want to chime in on Dynamite, Raw, SmackDown's coming up. We are getting to SmackDown as we're less than an hour out of SmackDown.
So I say something to Steve's comment. Do that.
Which comment?
He said a word for Darby's dad's Sting. As much as I think the tag belts are the prettiest belts on AEW, the tag belt and your world championship are very two different things. And can you compare Sting and Bryan Danielson? I'm sorry. Different careers. I don't know.
Yeah, very different careers.
And also, Sting wanted to lose that match. Tony and the Young Bucks wouldn't let him. I don't know.
Tony won't let anyone lose. But I don't know. It's very.
Sorry, so we're traveling to SmackDown.
We are traveling to SmackDown, but just in case as you're chiming in here, be sure to hit the old like and subscribe button. If you're new here, this is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. If you don't take our word for it, take a fellow Nick's.
It's Nick Gage, MDK Jelly, and you're watching the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. MDK all fucking day.
Oh, I love it. MDK all day. Another Nick, another New Jersey guy telling you to watch the show.
So chime in. We're going to open up the phone lines very, very shortly here. But first, let's kick it back to last week's SmackDown. So we are bleeding into SmackDown. That's part of the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour goal, is to get us right up to basically like a half hour or so out of SmackDown, so you can get your snacks.
10 minutes to get your snacks, take your dog out and watch it.
Yeah. So that being said, it's been a week since last week's SmackDown where Roman destroyed the New Bloodline. So a lot happened on last week's SmackDown to catch up as we go into tonight's SmackDown. So let's catch you up on some of the highlights from last week.
Come on, summer race, yo, on, it's Friday night, and I wanna be alone. Got it in my hair, I put my snapback on. It's Friday night, and I wanna be alone. It's the dance floor, I just don't need. I ain't your cash, I got you, baby. Baby, I don't need television, I want tonight. I love sex, baby, I don't need television, I want tonight.
Nikki's not a fan of the music selection, but I love Cheap Thrills. It's Friday night.
Not that
What?
woman, a woman, man.
It's a guy. It's an English guy.
I love that song. Oh my god! So I made a point to, especially because it's Steven and Ed's.
Ed said
video.
it's very British.
Nick doesn't preview the videos for me, so I watched them live with you guys, and you were singing that song earlier this morning, and I was like, okay. And then it hit, and I was like, what is happening? I'm sorry. You're great. You're getting so good at these videos, but that song.
Yeah, she hates the song. Whatever. If you hate the song, put it in the comments. If you like the video and the song, put it in the comments. Hit the like. Let us know. But we digress. We open with we close with last week's SmackDown with Cody Rhodes opening.
We open at the close.
We open at the close.
Harry Potter kids, you get it.
Cody Rhodes opens SmackDown with one of his classic baby face-ish
What do you want to talk about?
promos. Ultimately coming out, and eventually he does get confronted by our old friends in the bloodline. With the bug.
Yeah, I almost went. I saved your line.
Yes. Well, that bug's been going away.
So basically, Sikoa comes out and he's like, I deserve a rematch. And Cody was like, girl, bye. Get to the back of the line. Like, you don't deserve anything. You got beaten in the middle of this ring. Girl, bye. And then basically, the bloodline gets on the apron to attack Cody. And then KO comes running out, hands him a chair. They both have 2 chairs. And then the bloodline runs off. So then KO's about to walk out of the ring, and then Cody's like, can we talk about something? I'm going to be real awkward about this, but can we talk?
So, ultimately, paraphrasing here, but Cody discusses that one of the most deserving people of a title shot is, in fact, Kevin Owens. And what he was going to get to before he was rudely interrupted by the bloodline is that he wants Kevin Owens to be his next challenger for the undisputed WWE Championship. Kevin, being as chivalrous as he has, understands that his win-loss record has been garbage this last year, and he doesn't deserve it. So, find somebody else, essentially. Nikki?
That's basically it. So he's like, we're friends. I think you deserve it. And he's like, no. And then basically later the night they go back to Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis is like, yeah, we'll do that.
So they go back to Nick Aldis, and the reason being is that Nick Aldis wants to talk about the next challenger to Cody Rhodes, and he said he was waiting to talk with Roman Reigns. And that ultimately is what sets off Kevin Owens into saying that anyone in the back is deserving of a title shot more than Roman Reigns because of all the bloodline stuff, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So Kevin agrees, well, reluctantly gets selected by Nick Aldis. He says he sees what everyone else sees and that Kevin Owens is the next challenger for Cody Rhodes. So my question in this is, because I thought that this was the Randy Orton spot that we talked about for months that was going to happen at SummerSlam. Is this now what makes Kevin Owens turn heel?
Has KO, is he on the Big Show path of the heel turn, heel turn, heel turn, heel turn? I think he's been.
I don't know.
He goes a lot. I don't think he needs to turn heel. I know you have.
Sergio, SmackDown starts in another 45 minutes, so feel free to chime in with us. Talk about last week's SmackDown. If you want to call in, we're going to open up the phone lines.
But
Feel free to
sometimes
call
you
in.
can just have a good match and have, like, I'm trying to think. Did we see Stardust KO matches? Because when KO came in, he had been the Stardust character or just left at that point. I want to see a KO match. Like, again, I don't care.
He's deserving. I mean, you're going to have a good match.
Like, I don't care about the base heel stuff. I think it would be a fun match, and I think it's a way to get. Obviously, you want Randy Orton and KO on the card. We've seen enough SmackDown tag matches. Let's do something different.
Steve thinks the match will be the impetus for Orton to turn however. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. I just think ultimately.
Do you think he loses to the match with Gunther happens earlier in the night? He loses, gets mad, and interrupts that match. I think
Maybe
he can't get mad at KO for having a title shot because he also has a title shot in the same pay-per-view. PLE, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It could be. I mean, that's a good way to book it too. Just like kind of like last week, like with the storyline with the Money in the Bank.
Like he got mad that he lost his match, so he doesn't want KO to beat Cody. I don't know.
Yeah, good point. I'm not sure. I mean, that would be a nice way to book it, I think.
Because I'd rather see Orton turn heel than KO. If I had to choose between the two of them,
yeah, I can't really. I mean,
but I think
who would benefit more? I don't know.
Them at this point, are they above heel phase that it doesn't matter what they do, they're gonna get cheered?
Possibly.
Maybe Randy Orton more than KO, but I don't.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to say. I don't know. I think
maybe this is not.
I like KO better as a heel. I really do.
Maybe this is more of a post, like the SmackDown after Berlin, going to bed. Again, I'm booking Bad Blood like it's Mania, baby. It's my birthday, but Bad Blood's on my birthday this year, so I'm booking it like Mania. So maybe if something happens, the SmackDown after, and then the three of them have to, maybe it's a three-way between the three of them with Cody, KO.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, that'd be a good one too. Steven says Orton loses, Cody wins. Orton also gets upset that KO got a shot before he did and turns on Cody next SmackDown after Berlin. Meh. Seems like the consensus is that
KO can throw it back, but like, well, you went to Raw to go after Gunther. Gunther didn't call out Randy. Randy losing, crawled there himself.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I like both of those scenarios that Orton earns, and it makes logical sense because he didn't get the shot. What do you all think? Does Kevin Owens turn heel? Does Randy Orton just come back and become the heel in this feud, or do all three of them? Maybe they just all feud.
All
gentleman's agreement.
Heel and
who knows? So, just touching upon before we get to our headliner with Roman taking out the Bloodline. just some touch points. It looks as though the latest or the next challenger for LA Knight is going to be Santos
Escobar.
And I get stumbled upon it.
Poor Andrade.
So yeah,
But
weird.
LA looks so goddamn good with that belt. And he has a terrible shot because his belt's on the other arm, but he looks good with that belt.
So I like it. I think they're both. Santos is a great worker, so it's going to be a nice feud for that belt. But I don't know. I think he's just a transitional opponent for LA. LA's going to have the belt for a while. I think he's going to have it for a long time, and especially considering the fact that with all this bloodline stuff and Cody Rhodes kind of being bloodline adjacent, so to speak, like in it. I think that the U.S. title is going to have more of a precedent on SmackDown in the coming weeks in terms of defending it. And
and that's the thing. You want to. It's such the kind of juxtaposition, like the IC belt that Gunther was a reigning defending there every week kind of champion. Logan Paul defended it twice. Ooh, I would like to see the belt defended. I would love.
But those 2 matches were great. Those 2 matches were phenomenal.
I would love for him to maybe do kind of a Cena-esque open challenge, because open challenge to me and the U.S. champion just kind of goes hand in hand. This fucking bug is making me itchy. But maybe I would like to see something different once we get through the Escobar stuff. I don't know. I guess is that the scene? It's gonna be LA, Escobar, Andrade, Mello. That's
right gonna be 100%.
And then Baron Corbin came in. I don't remember where that came from.
Well, no, because Corbin and Cruz are feuding with.
I forgot he was
the
with
two.
Apollo
I'm
Crews.
blanking on their name now.
Humberto and Garza.
Castillo.
Their
Is that his last name? Castillo. Humberto.
Yeah. And Angel Garza.
Yeah.
They're cousins. They have the same grandpa.
Okay. History.
You learn that at NXT. They woke up, they have the same scar scratch tattoo. Cultaholic called them the kissing cousins for a while. It's hysterical. That's the only reason I know that. But I guess that's your mid-card kind of thing going on, that's what be that. But I don't know, he looks great with the belt. I'm here for it.
No, I think they'll put on a good match. We'll see how they build up that feud, and he's also got the group around him, so you obviously can see he'll have, I don't want to say jobbers, but underlings to work through.
I just feel bad for Andrade. I think that nothing in AEW comes back to WWE, re-debuts back at Royal Rumble and has done jack. But fight with another Spanish wrestler.
Because he needs to be in this group. And he needs to be leading this group.
That's why I love the Judgment Day. You have 2 Irish people, 2 Spanish people, and a white girl. Mix it up. You don't just because you all have the same, not all the Irish people be in one thing and not all the. That's why we were rewatching. We went on a rundown in your house in the very early days of the Nation of Domination. It was white boy rappers and the weird Stokely Hathaway band, whatever he was, not coming to me right now. And DOA before they became DOA, y'all can be mix it up.
Yeah, Steve's right. He's a speed champion.
Oh, woo!
The title, not the drug.
And are they doing the women's one this week or next week? Steven, I'm sure you'll let me know. I don't.
No, they do them every week. They're
no, but I thought they just.
It's the ADD title.
I thought they just introduced/announced that they're doing a women's bracket.
Oh, I didn't catch that one. No, that's news to me. This is breaking news from Nikki on the show.
Okay.
To Nick. So, nicely done.
Any users. But also, we also said last week that there was so much going on that would have to happen on this SmackDown that something was going to have to suffer. We found out you saw Tiffany running around backstage trying with Pretty Deadly, who I freaking love. Give me more Pretty Deadly. And she's interacting with Chelsea, but Tiffany's putting on this celebration bash of Nile becoming champion. So that was the one thing that they didn't touch on this week.
Whatever blanking on their name, the Yes Boys. Why am I?
Pretty
Pretty
They're
good.
not
Oh yeah, I know. You went over it so quickly, and I was doing things, multitasking.
And Elton.
Like I think I said this to you. I love them together. I love the three of them. Like need to be.
What, Tiffy with Pretty Deadly?
Yes. They need to be some sort of like item. I think that it would be absolutely brilliant.
I just want like a
While she has the briefcase.
I just want a montage of them shopping on like Rodeo or something. Like real.
Like
Jackson,
100%. Like that would be such a phenomenal grouping. But anyway, we move along. So that actually begs the question as we were going into tonight, looking ahead to the celebration, does Tiffany Stratton cash in tonight on Nia?
No. She's going to cash in on Nia. I think it's gonna be a little bit of a let it burn. Maybe I think it's gonna be a big thing. Like Survivor Series, maybe Rumble. Because rumors is
Do you think Nia is gonna be?
People are saying that like Mania match would be Tiffy Charlotte. But then I'd rather see Charlotte take the belt off Nia and Tiffy cash in on Charlotte, kind of like Carmella did. Shout out to Carmella. I miss her dearly.
Yeah, it'd be. So I don't know. I don't think so. It's a big event to do it. So like,
I think at this point, all the cash-ins have been at big PLEs. It's not like a random Raw that you're coming out.
Right. That's why it would be a surprise to some extent.
Or SmackDown. I don't know. SmackDown. I don't know.
It'd be interesting, but I don't know. Let us know. Do you think this is going to happen tonight, or is this more of a slow burn?
I think you have to, because again, Nia won Queen of the Ring to get the belt. I think if you want to put a little more prestige back on King Queen of the Ring, you got to let them have more than a month reign. So that's just me. Again, Triple H was a King of the Ring winner. Should have won when Austin won. Imagine that bananas.
But
I don't know. I think you need to give. I want Nia to have like an actual defense.
She will.
Again, I am.
She did. She defended
I am
Bayley Moore.
channeling Nia to you in my life right now. See what is happening in my life.
Seriously?
Yes, queen.
I thought you were gonna put a
Nikki turned. Hashtag Nikki loves Nia. Get it going. Get it trending. Worldwide. That's the next trend on SmackDown for tonight. So it brings in to, as we go in 23 minutes out of Raw, we were going to get to the calls here. We're trying to squeeze in a couple calls before we go. Roman Reigns, our headliner, shows up at the end of SmackDown, and he is called out by
Solo comes out, says, Tulsa, acknowledge me. And they put up the things, and everyone's like, no. And then Roman comes out. Well, he was like, put up the ones, acknowledge me. And then he touches the Ula Fala and was like, if you want this, come get it. And then Roman comes out and destroys everybody and their mother. And at the last second, he is holding the Ula Fala, and then they interrupt. Like, smashes Tama, smashes Tonga, who can't hold up a belt properly.
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing.
All right, is that iPad really getting to him? Or is he really just, like, leading into it now? I'm like, I botched so much.
I'm going to do it all the time. I'm going to be the greatest botcher to ever botch.
A champion in New Japan. Like, he knows how to hold a flipping belt. Jesus, there. But yeah.
Yeah, like...
Stair shot, Superman punch, spear, chairs, like, destroyed G.O.D.
Literally, these guys have been built up for the whole summer. The whole summer. And Roman just, in 2 nights, basically, took them all out. Except for Jacob, because we know they're protecting Jacob.
Yes.
Because he's a treasure.
Treasure.
But, literally, the G.O.D. took them out 2 straight weeks. The group that looked like that Heyman was so worried about, that they're the Tongans, they're vicious Samoans.
They couldn't get them into Canada and whatever show that was.
Yeah, no, it was no. Oh no, yeah, it wasn't Canada. It was like
No, but they had something. What was before? They had something in Canada.
I know you're. Yes, I'm blanking. Someone will let us know as people are
They had
chiming
something
in.
like Toronto, and Sammy had the whole big thing. And
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I cannot remember the. It was like the
they're-
one right after. So it was
they're
either
like
Money in
the
the Bank.
dangerous No, Money
Cash
in
in
the
the
Bank
Bank.
was.
I don't know.
Was Money in the Bank in Toronto? Again, Steven, where's my stat man? Let me know below. But yeah, like Paul Heyman was terrified of them, flipping terrified of them, and Roman's like, doop, 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 ooh,
Yeah, I could take you all out with one punch and one spear.
I guess it's kind of what we said about Rhea and what was the pay-per-view in Toronto that Paul Heyman was like, oh my god, we had to get lawyers to get the bloodline into the country. I thought it was Canada, Toronto.
It's I think it was like maybe it was Backlash was that Backlash King of the Ring. It's either King of the
Ring was Saudi. Maybe it was Saudi Arabia. There was some pay-per-view that Heyman was like, we had to do all this stuff to get.
Yes, he had Money in the Bank. I think it was
Money in the Bank. Was that Money in the Bank in Toronto, in Canada? Oh yes, because that's when Chelsea Green had her whole big spot.
And that's why he's the stat man. So the question is, how does Solo respond? Because now, literally, we spent the whole summer building up to this whole feud and building up this Bloodline 2.0 to the point where everyone's afraid of them on SmackDown, so to speak. And now, ultimately, with one night and 2 nights, Roman's taking them out pretty quickly, pretty easily. So I guess, how does Solo respond to Roman's attack? Like, I don't know how he can come back from this. And like, Jacob's kayfabe injured. So, and the GOD just got annihilated. I don't even think they're attacking. Actually, GOD didn't even win, whatever they're calling them, the Tungans. They didn't even win the tag titles. Jacob did. So it wasn't all of them. So I guess my question is, are more Bloodline reinforcements coming for Solo? We talked about Talatanga, Hikuleo.
Mm-hmm.
Is he another person in this line in the Bloodline that could come? Because now Jacob's injured, kayfabe injured. He's lost his tag team seemingly. And what's next? If Roman can take everybody out so easily, what do you do?
Well, that's what I feel like what I said about Rhea and Damian. Like, something's gonna come, something's gonna happen, because you're being this dominant. Because this has to go longer, then someone or something has to come and happen. So it's gonna be Hikuleo at this point. They said they signed him, and if they're trying to keep, all the sheets are saying that they're keeping Jacob away from Roman.
Right.
So when is Jacob supposed to come back and destroy Roman? Because I think that's the thing. I'm thinking Survivor Series, War Games, that like he comes out and just destroys the world.
Roman?
No, Jacob.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a thing at some point. For this to be a thing, Solo's Judgment Day has to put Roman down. Not like down, but like they have to beat him up. They have to do something.
Right.
Again, like you said, back-to-back things. He's getting over on them. So something big needs to happen. So is it Jacob coming back and he takes out Roman? Or do you get Hikuleo and then it's really 4 on... I don't know. I think with both storylines that are dominating both shows, something needs to happen.
Yeah, there's more layers to the storyline that are coming, because Roman's dominance of the Bloodline so quickly concerns me.
Yeah, something.
Same thing with the Judgment Day, like the Rhea, like as we open the show with the Rhea Liv stuff. and Dom stuff. Like, I feel like Rhea and Priest have gotten over so quickly, so much on the group, that there has to be some literal iteration.
That's what you said earlier. Like, someone's gonna come out, someone's gonna do something. You can add a random person. Like, they added JD McDonough was random, and then like Carlito was random. Like, even Dom was random. So you can just kind of plug and play.
Yeah, no, you can, and there's so many bloodline members that everyone's got 14 kids, so you never know. What do you think's next tonight as we are 25 minutes out of SmackDown? What do you think's going to happen? How does Solo respond to the bloodline just getting annihilated by Roman last week? Does he bring in a new member? Does he just have a new strategy? Maybe there's been rumors when Jacob got brought in that Armando Alejandro Estrada, Umaga's old manager, could be their version of the wise man. Maybe they bring in. So could there be some other iteration of this moving forward? I don't know. We want to hear from all of you. We are about to open up the phone lines, take a couple calls. If you all want to chime in along the way, feel free to call in. The call-in number is below. So if you look in the link, it says call in, and then there's a little link there so you can chime in if you'd like to. If not, we love hearing from you. We love to hear everyone's opinion. If you don't feel like calling in, you can write it in the chat, and we will read it off. We are here, just to let you know, we're here every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 hours prior to SmackDown going live. So before you catch SmackDown, come in for the happy hour and enjoy your time. That being said, let's open up the phone lines.
Tell him.
All right.
We'll bring him in and I'll tell him.
Oh gosh, Nikki is getting reckless.
I'm so excited to talk to
So,
guest.
our guest of the hour. Let me just get everything situated here. We're trying to get everything organized. We got a lot of different. We got new backgrounds. We got new things going in.
Changing things on me.
There we go. That's what I wanted to do. And make it a little visually appealing. We got a nice little picture of Gunther, Liv Morgan there. So that being said, phone lines are open. Let's bring him in. He is our resident stat man. Ladies and gentlemen, he goes by one name here. Say his name and he appears. But we like to do a little bit of a dance when he comes on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, sing along if you know it. If you're a regular, you know. It's just bop, bop, bada, boop. It's Steven.
I'm a scat man. I'm a scat man.
For the record, the song, we got like 4 more listeners once the song was played. So, Steven! Bring him in. Hold on. Technical difficulties. There we go.
Greetings.
I just need to tell you real quick. You came on last week with your name and your image, and I was like, what is that? And I rewatched it the next day, and I was like, oh my God, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Brilliant. I loved it. Thank you.
I don't remember. Was it the beans?
The legumes. And I
Yes.
was like, what? And then the whole, again, kids, if you know, you have to be a regular here. And I was like, oh my God, that's bloody brilliant. And it took me like rewatching it the next day. Because I rewatched it because I'm like, can you hear us? Can we do it's more like research than like, I don't want to watch myself talk. But you doing the legumes, chef kiss, love it.
I'm flattered. I'm flattered. Thank you, folks. Where is Bobby anyway? Haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, he's been broadcasting. We don't know. Bobby, where you at? He hasn't been. I was on a show earlier. I chimed in to say hello to him, but
He's
who
at
knows?
training camp.
Bobby's a popular guy nowadays. He does the rounds on YouTube. For sure. So yeah, we got to see. You know, usually it's like say his name and he appears too, but who knows? So Steve, what are you thinking? What are you drinking?
Only drinking water today as my flight leaves tomorrow. And as I've been told, not only is it not good to be drunk on the plane, it's also not good to be hungover on the plane. So just water tonight. I'll plenty of time for all that when I get there.
Where are you going?
I am going to New Orleans.
He's going to All In.
You go on the most exciting adventures, Steven. I'm jealous of you at every turn. I've never been to LA. You tell me about your LA adventures. And now when you come back, I need to hear all about your NOLA adventures.
Happy to share them. Happy to share the pictures. But just it's, you know, my parents always taught me, you know, travel and see places you've always wanted to see while you still physically can. And you know, so that's what I'm trying to do. Never been there, always wanted to see it. You know, there's enough stuff down there to keep me occupied for a week, and that's not even counting all the bars on Bourbon Street. So, you know, let's do this.
So Steve, you're saying next week, you heard it here live, Steven's calling in from New Orleans.
You know what? If you're going on at the usual time next Friday, I may just be going back to my hotel room to change my undershirt for the 5th time. So,
if I'm in New Orleans, I'm not calling into this.
Yes, you are, because this is part of your vacation. This is all part of the happy hour. It's all enjoyable, right? We all love wrestling. So if you want to make it part of New Orleans, as you're walking along Bourbon Street, you want to chime in. Just give us a scenic view, just like if you're at a wrestling event. If you're going to Smackdown tonight and you're about to walk in, give us a call. We want to hear from all you.
I'd say I'll find a nice quiet bar to call in from, except there is no such thing as a nice quiet bar down there, I hear. So
go to all the jazz clubs, eat all the food. If you're into that, I'm gonna go do on the cemetery tours. Like, oh my god, I was
doing that, taking a swamp tour.
See, I'm going to New Orleans with Steven. Nick doesn't want to go. So, Steven, on crash your vacation, put me in your suitcase.
Yeah, you get hit by a gator, don't call me.
I only got a room for one, but y'all welcome to make your own accommodations and join me.
Steven, you're living my dream.
Unbelievable. That being said, Steve, so aside from being excited to go to New Orleans,
yeah,
what are you thinking this week? What are you thinking wrestling-wise?
Well, the Dom's promo with Rhea, at first I heard the reason he gave for why he went with Liv over Rhea, and he mentions because Liv gives me, lets me have chicken tendies, and I'm like, they task me, these people, really. I mean,
listen, that's a great sales pitch.
Yeah,
chicken tendies and video games, and if he's getting laid along the way, that's a pretty good threesome. Good
for him. But then I thought about it, and you know what? I was thinking he could have said anything like, Rhea was, verbally abusive. Rhea, Rhea does this, Rhea does that. And he would have been right in the tradition they've had lately of the heels being 100% morally in the right, if not for their actions that they take afterwards, like with Drew and like with Liv. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, no, this is actually the way to go, because, they just, worded it the way that they did. But, Rhea tried to get Dom to be a man, and Liv lets Dom stay a boy, even though Dom, I think, is almost 30 by now. So the whole thing about the chicken tendies in the video games actually, strikes true. Probably strikes true for a lot of people watching the program too. But now that I think about it, but
the tendies and chicken tendies is what we ate for lunch today. I played video games at some point in time. I have no complaints about my wife. This is a pretty good sales pitch.
No, it's perfectly fine. No, I just asked that the chicken tendies actually have chicken in them. That's all.
Yeah.
Simple man, Steve. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, so that so I enjoyed the way that's turning, and that's it really looks like there was that little bit of a tease, and I know they have their next PLE match already lined up. But it looks like they're really teasing and heading for a one-on-one with Rhea versus Dom, probably at Bad Blood, I would think. When is that again, by the way?
Yeah. Seriously, can someone explain when Bad Blood is? I don't know the date.
We're having a party. Look, it's gonna be Mania. We had Mania, we had Hot Mania, now we're having Nikki Mania, Fall Mania. Bad Blood needs to be the best card of the year.
Yeah, inside like a steel cage, Dom and Rhea would be. I would do that. I would buy into that more, even as much if not more than the Rhea Liv. I think I would probably be like, all right, like her alone, like getting her hands on, like no one else can pull you away, and like you have no excuses now. I'm just gonna absolutely torture you for however long I want, whenever I get 15 minutes.
I think it's an intergender match that people won't feel icky about because Rhea's bigger than Dom.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, maybe not height-wise, I think they're the same, but like build-wise. Because I know people are like weird about intergender, but like I want to see her beat him up. And if we're on at my birthday celebrating, icing on the cake.
That's fair.
I vote for a hair versus hair match.
That'd be interesting.
Oh,
That's an interesting concept. I don't think has that been like I've never. Well, yeah, I don't think it's ever been done.
Hair versus hair? No, they've done it a couple of times.
Well, no, I mean like man versus woman.
Mixed.
Oh. No, I think you're right.
I'm just thinking like Serena Deeb when she shaved her head for CM Punk. That was like her initiation thing. What was Molly Holly though? When Molly Holly got her head shaved, what was that?
No, I think it was a women's match. It was another women's.
Was it a hair versus hair match?
Yeah, it's always a hair versus hair match.
Not always.
Why else would they? Oh, I mean,
well, CM Punk and Ray was a hair versus mask, like a traditional lucha thing. But I don't remember what Molly Holly's thing was when they shaved her head.
There was one I remember from the 80s. It was an old, I don't even know if it was WCW at that time, but it was the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, versus I forget. It was like the big blow off match to his feud with the manager Paul Jones, and it was Paul Jones. The match was actually Paul Jones's hair versus up against the hair of Jimmy Valiant's valet, Big Mama, at the time. So that's Now neither of those two wrestled. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to correct myself. The match was actually Jimmy Valiant against Paul Jones. But yes, Big Mama's hair was on the line, and Jimmy Valiant won, so we didn't have to see that. But so that was kind of in its own way an intergender hair versus hair match. But this would be one where they actually wrestled, each other. I would want to see that. Throw the mustache in there too.
Yeah, you got to shave everything off.
He's really to look like Mysterio.
Yeah, right.
That would be funny. So, Steve, last shot before we let you go.
I hope they give Gunther a nice reign with the belt that culminates in a WrestleMania. I don't know about main event because there's going to be so many that you can put up as main events, but culminates in a Gunther versus Ilya match for the title at WrestleMania, because I've said this weeks ago, I think when Ilya was first called up, but that deserves a stadium level show.
I know you've been clamoring for this for a while.
I'm ready with Steven. I agree that should be the match. I'm worried because there's also that rumor floating around that's going to be him Cena. but I very much with you. I want Ilya, Gunther, Mania.
The rumor is that the two big matches I've heard for Mania are that Cena at least, or now Gunther Cena and Braun Breaker Cena to put over some another younger talent or potential main event talent to keep.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought up Cena. I think Cena's entire final run should simply be open challenges.
Steven, I would love that. That'd be incredible. I don't think that will happen, but that would be amazing.
That was his best work, in my opinion.
Agreed. That's what I kind of said about LA, like having for me, like kind of the open challenge, like him and KO, him and Sammy, like do that. That would be incredible.
Absolutely. So we'll see. A lot still to be.
Like, how would you like to see him, like a challenger, his open challenge, just like one or two people?
Oh, me?
Yeah, like if you threw it out there, then give me.
Oh yeah. A couple of the notable ones, like if you want to, put a retro spin on it, were Owens and Sami Zayn. There's two ideas there. As far as new people, don't know. I mean, there are newer people, maybe people he hasn't faced before. I don't know. That's hard to figure out. I mean, his time's going to be at a premium. He's not going to be there every week to do it. So we'll see.
Yeah, any newer NXT guys?
I would like LA Knight. I would like to see him versus Mello, him versus Trick, him versus say his name and he'll appear.
Gargano would be a great one.
Yeah, there's a lot that we could still see with Cena. So I don't know.
Plenty of time for that. Yep.
Exactly. Steve, well put as usual.
Love you. Have a fantastic vacation. I'm so freaking jealous. Have the best time. Can't wait to hear about it. Safe travel.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Next Friday from New Orleans.
Laissez le bon temps rouler.
He's calling it in French from New Orleans. We already know it. Steven, you, sir, or however you say it in French, cut off.
No, Steven has the best time. I'm so jealous.
Well, I will take you there.
No, you won't.
And I might leave you there. At this point. Because we don't know what she's doing. She says a lot. She wants to go to a lot of places.
Hey, I feel like with Steven's preference is like see the world. I haven't seen nothing. And like the 6 years we've been together, we've been all over the globe, and I'm not done. I want to see all the states. I want to see all the continents.
I give her a little taste, and this is what happens.
Oh, baby, give me an inch. I'll take a fucking mile.
Well, that being said, we didn't get to do it, but because Steven chimed in, we give him his little outro.
Oh.
$15 seconds. Sorry. She thought. So if you're new here, Steven is a regular on our show. But a couple weeks ago, he called in with Liv Morgan's promo and complained about her Daisy Dukes and the feet that were in the background.
She didn't complain about the Daisy Dukes.
The feet that were distracting from the Daisy Dukes.
Those weird little feet of that person next to him. No one likes feet. Maybe somebody likes feet. I'm lying.
People do. But you never know. That being said, we are 7 minutes out from SmackDown. Get yourself a snack. Get yourself a refreshment. Go to the bathroom. Whatever you need to do.
Take your dog out. Take you out. Get some tendies.
Get some tendies and nuggies. Get your last video games in.
Pause them.
Pause them, yeah.
Yeah, pause and you go to SmackDown and commercial. You do that all the time.
Yeah. So, that being said, it's been a fun one. Until next Friday at 6 Eastern, we will see you. You do not have to go home.
But you cannot stay here. Bye.